Jackets lose 5-4 to the Tampa Bay Lightning in overtime, being eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs. For everything that happened this year, I am proud of this team. Would I have liked them to continue on? Yes. Should they have played better? Yes. However, in January, there were 13 people out of the lineup. It was looking bleak. Players just kept going down with injury after injury after injury. They kept going. Corpy played amazing. Elvis played amazing. They fight their way. They keep in a playoff spot for majority of the year. Then the whole shutdown thing happens, and they come back in the qualifying round, and they take it to Toronto, the team that's the high-powered flying offense, and they shut them down. And they come into Tampa. They play the fourth longest game in NHL history, and Corpy plays out of his mind the entire series. And they just didn't have that little extra push to get it done. But this is going to be a very interesting offseason. I'm looking forward to seeing what Jarmo can do, because there's going to be a flat cap for the next couple of years, which means teams are going to have to get rid of some good players for below market value because they just can't afford it, and everybody knows they can't afford them. So Jarmo's going to get out there, hopefully, and work his magic and make some incredible moves. But we'll talk more about the offseason after the video. Starting off, first period, about 5 minutes in, Tampa has a face-off in the offensive zone. They win the face-off, get to the point, shot comes in, and Tyler Johnson, Sabbath player, he tips it, beats Corpy. Tampa leads 1-0. What's kind of frustrating about this goal is it gets tipped, yeah, but it came just after Corpy had made an unreal save where Tampa was coming up the ice. It was a great passing play, and Corpy reaches out and just goes, nope, and stops it. He's really stepped up this year. I've really liked his play and that kind of stuff. Love to see it. And it's a tip. That kind of stuff beats the best of the goalies. About a minute after that, Columbus has the puck in their zone. They start to come out. They turn it over to Zach Bogosian. Bogosian sends it back down. Coleman gets it. He enters the zone. Zach does a good job, tries to block the shot, but what he ends up doing is screening Corpy as Coleman takes a shot. It beats Corpy, and Tampa leads 2-0. And at this point, it looks like it's going to be all Tampa, and I think everybody on the bench went, no, we're not going down without a fight. And they started to push a little bit, and they started to look like the Columbus Blue Jackets that took it to Toronto, the ones that kept fighting all year long, the ones that kept winning game after game and staying in there and pestering teams. They would lose every once in a while, but they would win, and they were just feisty, and they kept pushing and pushing and pushing. Eventually, Tampa takes a penalty. Power play doesn't get it done, but it looked really well, and as it's coming to an end, Axon has the puck on the wall. He sends it down to Wimberg behind the net. Wimberg tries to walk out and just sneak it by Vasilevsky somewhere. He just throws it at the net, hits Vasilevsky, goes out front, and there's 4 Tampa Bay players all around Nick Foligno, but nobody has him. He just roofs it past Vasilevsky as Tampa gets out of the box, and technically it's not a power play goal, but for all intents and purposes, it's a power play goal and is a big momentum booster. Tampa leads 2-1. Nick Foligno picking up his second goal of the playoffs. And the goal goes in, and there's some life and there's some push, and Columbus keeps coming and coming and coming, but Vasquez is making the save, and Tampa really doesn't have a whole lot to answer. They get some chances, but Corpy is there standing tall. But Tampa's able to hang on, get to the first intermission, up 2-1. Come out for the second period, Columbus has a power play. It looked like a normal power play. No passes that were good, no real shots. Tampa was breaking up everything, constantly sending it down the ice, having a hard time being in the zone. Normal power play. Little before halfway through the period, Sergachev takes a penalty, and that power play looked really good. I think for whatever reason, they thought they could do more stuff on the first one, and the second power play of the period, they just went and did stuff. They're passing the puck around, making good plays. Eventually, puck works his way up to Seth Jones on the point. Jones fakes a shot and Seth passes down to Stenlund. Stenlund shoots it. Vasilevsky makes a save. Rebound comes out. Stenlund, rather than go back up to the point, just throws it at the net again. Vasilevskiy picks up his left pad for about half of a second, and that's all it would take for Stanley to slide the puck past him. Jackets tie the game at 2, Stanley picking up his first ever career NHL playoff goal. And after that, Columbus continued to take it to Tampa and just shot everything at the net. Tampa did not have a lot of chances. They looked a lot like Tampa did in Game 3 when Columbus was just gassed. They had nothing, and Columbus just kept going and going and going. Coming near the end of the period, there's shots and rebounds and scrambling for the net. And Kucherov comes in, cross-checks Foligno in the face. I'm like, that's dirty. Puck works its way out to Wimberg. Wimberg just fires it at the net, beats Vasilevskiy. Jackets now have the lead 3-2. Alexander Wimberg picking up his third playoff goal with about 16 seconds left in the period. And that's how it would heading into the second intermission. Come out for the third period. Tampa has some push, and I think the Jackets backed off too much, and Tampa started to turn it on. About halfway through the period, Columbus is coming up the ice. They dump it into the one corner. PLD and Sergachev go into the corner. PLD sends her on the boards. As they get tangled up, they fall down, and there's a battle there. Puck works its way around the boards. Coleman picks it up, and he's starting to head out of the zone. And Gavrikov steps up and goes, "No, you're not." Pokes it off his stick. Borkstrand tries to pass it to PLD for a tip past Vasilevskiy. Doesn't really work out. Vasilevskiy gets a piece of it, but Borkstrand comes in. Vasilevskiy's sliding out of position, laying on his back. Borkstrand comes in, puts it in the empty net. Jackets lead 4-2. Borkstrand picking up his third goal of the playoffs. And the Jackets have taken control of this game. Tampa would challenge this goal for goalie interference. PLD did touch Vasilevskiy. However, I think Sergachev did more damage, and that's why they allowed the goal to stand. Because PLD got a piece of him. I think if Sergachev wasn't there, Vasilevskiy able to plant his foot and still attempt to make the save. But because Sergachev was there, he got tied up with Vasilevskiy, and Vasilevskiy had no chance on that play. But Columbus now has a lead and a power play. And after that, Columbus went from the team dominating play, gaining shots on net, making the smart passes. Nothing was too hard or was hitting the stick and immediately bouncing off. Everything was on the correct hands. They were great passes. They were playing as a team. And as soon as they got that 2-goal lead, Tampa killed off the power play, and it's gone. They went back to the Jackets that played in Game 3 and Game 4. They were trying the fancy stuff. They were trying to flip it out of the zone and try and win races against Tampa and doing all this other stuff. I'm like, you were playing correct. And they continued that way for the rest of this game. Not a problem. But they stopped doing that. And Tampa smelled blood in the water, and they started to push even harder. About 8 minutes left in the period. Tampa's coming up the ice. Kucherov enters the zone. Everybody gets pushed back. Kucherov hits the trailing Shattenkirk. Shattenkirk unloads his shot. It beats Corpy, and now the Tampa Bay Lightning are within 1. And now Columbus tries to do their more fancy stuff, and they try it even more. And they get away from the team game that got them the 4 goals. They tried to be heroes by themselves. Tampa pushed and pushed and pushed, and coming near the end of the game, they pull Vasilevskiy. There's about 2 minutes left. There's a scramble in the offensive zone for Tampa. Point just throws it into traffic, and Cirelli's right there on the edge of the crease, battling the Savard, and it goes in. And now Tampa's tied it up with 90 seconds left. I thought this was a kick-in. Point passes it in the front, pucks him towards Cirelli, and as it gets to him, he turns his foot. To me, that's him kicking it in. He didn't do an actual kicking motion. He did the turn at the very last second, redirecting it in. He knew exactly what he was doing. That goal should not have counted, but they allowed it. And now we head to overtime. About 5 minutes into overtime, Tampa has the puck. They dump in the zone. Corpy comes out, stops it, and gives it to Savard. And Savard don't know what he was doing on this play. He sees Plot coming in, and rather than hold on to it and do something with it, or going around the boards, or making a decent pass over to Gavrikov, just throws it. It goes to the wrong side of Gavrikov. So Gavrikov tries to get towards it. He ends up kicking it out. It goes right to Kucherov, and now the one person in front of the net, all alone, Braden Point. Kucherov gets it over to him. Point goes forehand to backhand. Roofs above Corpy. Tampa wins 5-4. So now we head into the offseason, and Columbus is going to have a little bit of work to do. They have to get PLD signed, they have to get Gavrikov signed, and potentially Josh Anderson signed. But other than that, most of the team is locked up. So if Yarmo's going to want to find some scoring, he's going to have to make a trade or do something in a free agency, which Yarmo is Yarmo, who knows what he's going to pull off. I have full faith in him. Hopefully he does something good. He'll do something good. He always does. I feel a little bad for Korpisalo. He played unreal in this series. Unfortunately, the offense couldn't get it done for him. For the playoffs, he had a .941 save percentage, which, if your goalie has that, most of the time you're going to win, unless the offense doesn't show up to help. And included in that is his 85 save performance in Game 1, where he went 5 overtimes. He set the new NHL record for saves in a single game by a large margin. I don't think anybody's going to be able to touch that for a while. And so hopefully he can continue that. If he gets better this offseason and Elvis gets better than offseason and Columbus finds a little bit of scoring threat, who's stopping this team? With Jones and Rinsky on the point, with Savard and Gavrikov blocking shots like crazy, and you have young defensemen like Kukin and Nudie and Peak coming up. You have available defensemen that can trade to get the scoring threat with you. Yarmo has a lot of stuff that he can use, and hopefully this team can put it together next year and not get as injured. That would help a lot. But until next season, click like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until then, I'll see you later.